So so Tuchel is the English manager right now. Honestly, I think this is a great appointment. I think when you look at the talent in this English team, right? Um, say Tuchel's time at Chelsea, we won a lot. We won the Champions League, we won the Super Cup, we won the Club World Cup. But we've always kind of said we felt like Tuchel could have done a lot better if he had a much better team. Now, don't get me wrong. When he came into this team, we had Thiago Silva, we had Rudiger, we had Christensen, we had, N'Golo Kante, Jorginho. The list goes on and on and on and on. But when you looked at our, forward options, like the attacking options, your Timo Werners, your Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, Mason Mount, Lukaku, um, Tammy Abraham, Olivier Giroud. Like these aren't really names you look at and you go, okay, these names are really going to win you the biggest trophies and in club football. But that's what Tuchel was able to do. He was able to really take the team that we had with Jorginho and Kante in midfield, Werner, Havertz, Mason Mount, bro. He took that forward line to beat, the likes of Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, beat Man City in the final, and he just worked, wonders with his team. So I say all this to say, potentially when you look at this England team, like there's so much talent in it. Like you have the strikers, that would be available to Tuchel to choose from. You look at your Bukayo Saka's, your Cole Palmer's, Jude Bellingham's, Phil Foden's, Jack Grealish. Yo, the options are just the options are just in abundance. So I think for me, Tuchel being the England's men's national team coach will definitely serve them well. When you look at cup competition, there's not a lot better than Tuchel. I mean, this guy was renowned for being a cup manager. Took us to the Carabao Cup final, FA Cup final. We lost both on penalties, unfortunately. But when you just look at cup competitions, Tuchel has a good record in that. The guy's won everywhere he's been. He won in France with PSG. He won in Germany with Borussia Dortmund. Um, won it, I mean, when he went to Bayern Munich, yeah, he almost bottled the league, but he still won it, and then he did lose it in the season after. But I think around that time, just everything around just his professional, career, his personal life, I just feel like Tuchel probably had a lot of shit going on where, you know, him taking that Bayern job back was kind of like just getting back into things. Um, but I look, I have nothing bad to say. I think this is a great appointment. It will be very interesting to see if Tuchel goes back to his very favorite, 3-4-3 formation with the three attackers kind of inverted. And then you got your wing backs. Tuchel loved them some wing backs. Ben Chilwell, Reece James. If it wasn't them two, it was either, Pulisic, it was either, Cullum Hudson-Odoi, it was either Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Aspilicueta. I mean, he just loved this back three. So I think it will be very interesting with the players that he has available to be, to pick from. Again, strikers. You could pick Kane, Watkins. Now you got Solanke, um, Tony. Not really in the mix, but these are the three guys you can go with. For your wingback positions. Is this the future, role for someone like a Bukayo Saka as a left wing back? You know what I mean? I think Tuchel might bring Reece James back into the fold. Players like that. I know people mention like Loftus Cheek might get a call up. Tamori. There might be players who needed to be in this team that will be getting called back into the team. Like Tyrick Mitchell might be getting call ups because guess what? He's available. And I know, Southgate didn't really veer too much from like his his preference. Like a lot of these guys, I guess he just trusted them enough. He's worked with them longer. Your Maguires, even if they're not having good seasons, they get picked. Henderson not having a great season, he gets picked. So I think it's a fresh start for a lot of these players, man. At least now you probably are going to play based on merit. And a lot of these guys who never got called up might be looking at this as an opportunity to be like, you know what? New coach, new management team. I might be in the mix. But I think it's a solid. It's a very big it's a big move for England. I mean, you know, someone like a Pochettino was available, but they stayed away from Poch, and I think to a good effect. Poch having this English team will be a disaster. I mean, he's coaching, the American team right now, and God be with Pulisic and all these guys because them gun test and these running, oh, it's going to be a big problem. But I think when you just look at the options, was Pep ever really going to manage England? Probably not. It was possible, but I don't think Pep would have just left Man City and went on to manage England. So I think great. I believe this is like a good matchup. And it'll be exciting to see Tuchel with this English team. Another thing about Tuchel too that we do have to admit is that it got to a point where like he could build a very good defensive team. Like defensively, you cannot beat his teams. When Tuchel came to England with Chelsea, he said, "I'm going to build a team nobody wants to play against." When we won the Champions League with Tuchel, we conceded 4 goals throughout the whole competition. And I mean, we played some of the big teams. You know, Real Madrid to just speak on one went away, tied 1-1, came home, slapped them up 2-0. Atletico Madrid, we beat them convincingly. You got Mount against Porto, and it's just he built a team that defensively was a monster. But it's easy when you got the likes of, Rudiger and Christensen and Thiago Silva and, Prime Aspilicueta. Like, you could build a team on that and you can actually win with this kind of team. But would Tuchel come back with that whole defensive structure with England? Would he sacrifice some of like the flair players, trying to go a bit more defensive? That's something he's also been kind of like labeled a bit. Like he can coach a defense, but he kind of stifles his attack. And you'd hope he's learned a lot throughout, being with Chelsea, going back to Bayern Munich, and then now taking this job. You would hope that with the players he has available, you're not looking at an England team taking onto the pitch and you only got like 3 attackers. Then you got like 6 defenders, 3 midfielders, and like 2 you don't want to see Tuchel, kind of roll that out for you. I think it's going to get really disgusting pretty fast. But like I've said, I think this guy's a winner. Thomas Tuchel is one of the best managers my club has ever employed. I still have a lot of love for him. I think he's one of the best tacticians out there. Intelligent, reads the game. Yeah, he has his flaws, but this guy knows how to like coach when it comes to like cup competition. So again, massive coup for the England national team. And hopefully he's able to do what Southgate wasn't able to do. I mean, no disrespect or no shade to Southgate because he did, get England to finals. He did what he needed to do. He just couldn't get him over the edge. So now the question will be, will Tuchel be able to get these guys over the edge? And again, that's a question that will be, we're going to have to find out, sooner, rather than later. But solid pickup for England. And yeah, I think it will be really well. To end the video really quickly, Reece James back in training. We love to see it. Would he play against Liverpool? Probably not. But it's just nice to see that Reece James, Lavia, those were the 2 kind of, absentees we had so far in the first 7 games in the season. And now that we're about to get into a really tough fixture run, now these guys are back in training. I think Lavia's most probably has already been back training, but they're just trying to just, ease him in, manage his injury, manage his minutes, just make sure he's available long term. And I think one of the biggest things Maresca and the new, medical team have really been able to do is just manage these players. I mean, I'm very happy with the way they're just making sure these guys are being taken care of. Nkunku's minutes are being managed. He's getting goals. He's not even starting Premier League games. He's playing the low intensity, conference league games and the cup games. And look, in as much as I want to see Nkunku in the starting lineup immediately, ASAP, I want to see Neto in these lineups, but I can understand why they're taking their time with these guys, like Lavia, Fafana, and Nkunku Neto. These are players who can, have long-term injuries and might not be available. So with the way Maresca is just being able to kind of keep these guys, just protected, I can respect that. We're probably not really going to see Reece James until like November, which is cool. Get your sharpness, get your fitness in. Start him off in those low intensity games, cup games, conference league. Let him kind of just get back into it. Let him feel comfortable in his body to be able to do what he needs to do. Because a fit Reece James to this team is one of the biggest assets you can have. He's one of the most dangerous players we have as a defender. And I think it's always shady when people talk about Trent. Like, Trent is a fabulous player, but Trent is never talked about when it comes to his defensive attributes, which, again, we're talking of a defender. Everything about Trent speaks about his attacking qualities, but we're talking about a right back, a fullback, a defender. And yeah, he has nothing on Reece James when it comes to that. For me, I'm always going to take James in my team if he's available. If he's not available, I take Trent. But I like a defender who can defend first and foremost. Everything else you give me is an added bonus, to be honest with you. And James is just the best of both worlds. Like, yeah, he's not a creator like Trent, but Trent ain't no defender. Like, Trent is a good player, but as a right back, he's not it. But James in this team is definitely going to add a different dimension to our play, because this guy doesn't really need those many opportunities to just whip those balls in. His crossing from set pieces, he can finish as well. He can pass as well, strong. Reece James is like the complete fullback, and it's just unfortunate injuries have not really made us see him a lot. But him and Lavia coming back, I think is going to be a big boost. And we'll see how the next couple of weeks go. But I think sometime this week I'm gonna drop my Liverpool preview, so stay tuned for that. But people, appreciate you always checking out the video. Like, subscribe, share the video, interact in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying, what I'm not saying. Listen, if you can turn on your notifications, so whenever I upload something, if I drop something, you get it. Do that as well. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace.